Hi, Days.
Hi Jess, how are you?
I'm fine. I've had such a boring week. You'll appreciate this. I've been working on my puzzle this afternoon, and I've made like such little progress. It's so hard.
Really?
Yeah, I should.
No.
Every week we should do like a little snapshot of how little progress I've made in this puzzle. It's the hardest puzzle I've ever done by mile,
And there still could be missing
and
pieces.
there still
The
could be
whole thing
missing
would stress
pieces.
me out. I
I
don't know
know
how
it
you're
is.
how you're doing it.
It is stressing me out. This is the highlight of my week. I've had such a quiet week, so this is what I've been doing. It's just a
Well, the
lot of
puzzle or the recording the podcast?
both. It's been a very boring, work heavy week, and like there were a couple of people that I was supposed to see and they got canceled last minute, so I've
Oh
just been
no.
hanging around. Yeah, well, one of them, some former colleagues were over from New York, and so I was supposed to see them on Wednesday, and they ended up having to work late, which is fair because they're here for specific work projects.
Oh
So
no. I'm
I
just
know, so
so
it's been a very
uncomfortable today.
I know.
Oh
For those
God, I don't know
for
what's
anyone
happening.
who can't see Daisy, she's like got ants in your pants.
I just got a cold and it's making everything like, when it just throws everything off and I don't know how to
Yes.
I can't get my desk up, I can't get my seat down. I'm just going to sit back and like hope for the best. I want to be in an armchair, just nothing's okay.
That's why it's genuinely why I got this desk chair, because it is basically a big armchair and it means that I can sit in weird cross-legged positions and stuff because that's how I sit in chairs.
I mean, I'd love that right now. Send it over.
It might take a little while. Given I sent a care package to you before your surgery in early November and it still hasn't arrived.
I know.
It's
I
been
know, but it
sent
keeps
back.
coming back to you, so it's not
It does.
lost.
No, it's not lost. It came back to me in London. It went to Seattle with my parents post Christmas. It got returned to them in Seattle. I believe it's going to be on its way again at some point in the near future. I mean,
It's hilarious.
it's
Its carbon footprint is huge now.
it
It's like the
really
most
is.
well-traveled parcel. I can't wait to get it.
I feel like I've hyped it up way more than it actually deserves at this point. But anyway,
Oh.
how has your week been apart from your cold?
Yeah, fine. Just busy, like getting back to it and figuring stuff out. I mean, I'm a little over it, to be honest. It's hard because actually loads of great things are happening, but it's busy. So you're sort of focused on the problems or not even the
Yep.
problems, but the things that need solutions. So you don't get to bask in the glory of anything fun for that long. And then on top of it, I've got a cold and like my seat and my table won't work. And I have lots of little complaints in addition
But all those
to
little
that,
things
one
pile
of
up.
those weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, but life's okay. I mean, who can complain? We're not
Yeah.
we're not Amanda from Beverly Hills.
We're not Amanda from Beverly Hills, and thank God for that. Well, shall we just get straight into Beverly Hills then? Because that was a nice segue.
Good episode.
It was a good episode. I feel like Beverly Hills stuff is finally starting to happen. I will say though, if they didn't have Amanda, they'd be fucked because not a lot is going on apart from the Amanda stuff. Like if she
But I
wasn't
think
there
that's
as a
why she was
storyline.
cast. She was
Yeah.
literally cast to be annoying. She was going to wind everyone up. And
Yes.
you know what I think about those castings? I hate them.
Yeah.
And my depth of dislike for this is pretty huge because, and I've got to be careful what I say because I really do have people in common with her who I really like. But, she's just going to eat out on this for a really long time. And I hate it when challenging people get legitimized. Their brand of crazy doesn't deserve to be legitimized on this stage.
That's a very good point. I'm hoping, and we've kind of touched on this in the past, I'm hoping that this sheds some light on her brand of crazy because a lot of people are digging into her way more than I think would have done before. Like sometimes platforming yourself in this sort of situation is not, on one hand, yeah, of course it could bring you more customers, but on the other hand, it opens you up in a way that that it wouldn't have done before.
Well, you know what it is for me is that there's loads of layers to this, and you can approach it from both ways, and there's an argument for each side. But my thing is, if you're selling energetics and, you know, how to work with the powers of the universe, I don't know what her branding and her marketing says, but you should have been able to handle that whole situation better. And you should have given a straight, clear answer to Dorit. By the way, James and I both think it's Dorit. I know it's Dorit because that's how she says it, but Charles Dickens would have also said Dorit.
That's true. That is true. But Dorit is from Connecticut. Despite her variety of accents, she is actually not anything.
There's no E at the end.
No.
She's Little Dorrit from Charles Dickens. But anyway, who cares?
Her parents are from somewhere. I can't remember where, but so I think it's probably it's named after wherever they're from. I can't remember.
Who cares? It's the difference between being a Brit and being American. Yes. But Dorit, wait, I've lost my whole train of thought. But the whole vibe of this is that
Amanda should have been able to handle it better.
a certain way of living. And if you are going to attract money and do all of this stuff and, you know, be this magnetic connoisseur of finances, you can fucking handle that situation better. She deserved, you talked about her behind her back. You're on Housewives. Get used to having confrontation. Yeah. She did two really things that I really didn't like. And I know that people are trying to back her because, you know, you can't be mean about a dead baby. So like she got out of a situation that she should have owned it, right? That's what Rachel Zoe said, and I totally agree. And I thought it at the time, which is why I'm still sort of on Dorit's side. Not sort of, I am on Dorit's side about it. I think it's terrible now that the second layer to this is that she's now getting called, what were they calling her? An accoster. I don't go to these dinners to be accosted. Why are you in Housewives, you crazy? Well,
this is the thing, right? If you have any history of watching the show, and I guarantee you she's the sort of person that will have watched every season of Beverly Hills in the run-up to being cast on the show, or like post being cast on the show, you know that it doesn't matter. There is not a single group dinner in the history of Housewives where someone doesn't get into an argument at the table. Look at Salt Lake City. You
cannot don't want to be accosted. Don't talk about people like sensitive things.
And here's the thing. What Amanda is saying about Dorit bad-mouthing PK on a public platform, I actually don't think she's necessarily, and I'm not siding with her, I want to make that very clear, she's not necessarily wrong that it's not a great idea when you're going to be going into a custody battle to be bad-mouthing the other
but
partner,
you know what? If you want to give
unsolicited
advice, you give unsolicited advice
but this
to the
is
person.
The thing. Exactly.
When
like I don't
do
think
it behind someone's back, you're just bitching and gossiping.
That's it. Exactly. That's it. I don't think that Amanda is necessarily wrong in that. The way she's handled it and gone about it and not said it.
Yeah, but Jess, her whole business is in energetics. So what's the energetics of what she did that started this whole thing?
Very negative energy.
Super neggy.
Yeah.
And then creating and this is a really big problem in America right now, creating a narrative around what suits your story so that you can avoid accountability is a massive problem. And when you put someone like her on a pedestal and say, but she can teach you how to bring in all of this stuff, she's really meant to be as clean as a whistle. Like she's meant to be someone that you can trust because she knows how to do things properly in a way that the universe agrees with. When you watch that whole episode, someone who's in that spiritual community, what she's teaching through her behavior and her patterns there is that you can bend the truth to suit you. You can create a narrative. You can put people into... And it's so similar to poor old Austen and Craig.
I was going to say
exactly
there's definitely there's
to him.
Definitely some overlap for sure.
I know that you called it weaponizing, but I just think it's straight up manipulation of a situation, of two situations really, of the terrible thing and then of the actual getting out of something that you don't really want to face up to.
So what I thought was really interesting with Beverly Hills is that Beau's weighed in on this, and of all of anyone, Bose is the one person that can weigh in on this because she has had this same thing happen. And actually, she also has a husband who passed as her like other terrible thing that's happened. And, you know, she talked about how it can be handled in a sensitive way. And Bose said that Amanda was weaponizing it / using it to be manipulative. And if anyone can call it out, Bose is the only one that can call it
But
out.
I think
and I'm glad that she
keeps
did.
calling out Amanda. And I actually found it really annoying that that everyone sort of backs her up, because in my opinion, they were scared of the optics of what it would look like. If there were no cameras rolling, they probably would have held her accountable in that moment of just being like, you guys should pick this up later, because it is a conversation that needs to happen since you're in this friendship group, you know? Can't say things about people and then be like, dead baby, and run out the room.
Spot on. Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's super gross. I don't know. Just the more I learn about Amanda on every aspect of her life, I just intensely dislike her. And she destroyed that beautiful historic house. Just saying. Yeah. Let's just wrap the Amanda stuff up with saying, I think both of us, and I would argue that the wider Bravo community as a whole, gets really bad vibes from her. There is something just not quite
a bit scary,
right with her situation. Yeah, very, very much so. She's not someone I would want to meet in person. I think she just gives everyone bad vibes. And it's one of those things where you can't you can't necessarily put your finger on exactly what it is, but there's just something that is not...
You're scared. I would be scared of
unsettling.
saying stuff. I would be, because you don't know. I watched the after show and all they did was talk about that word accost, and poor old, I still don't think she really accosted her. And it's like, I would be scared of putting myself in that like firing line.
Yeah. Well, and again, I know we just said it, but we have to come back to it because it's true. This is a show where you go to these sorts of group events and it's almost expected at this point to get into these sorts of disagreements, right? And you cannot claim that you don't want to come to a dinner and get accosted. Whether you're splitting hairs about the meaning of the word accosted, whatever, that's almost besides the point. You are on a Real Housewives show. The purpose of the Real Housewives show is to have these sorts of interactions. You can't get angry at Dorit for coming at you at these sorts of things when she didn't know. And yeah, okay, she should have pulled it back, but also Amanda kept going a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, all we have to say is that Amanda is bad vibes Amanda. She's on the bin list for sure.
I know, if we put poor old Vanita on the bin list, I feel
exactly. And Vanita is far less offensive.
I feel like put Amanda on the bin list and shoot her into space.
Yeah, very much so.
And I feel guilty saying that because
no, don't feel guilty.
Of all of the, narrative she's built for herself. You're like, got to give her a second chance.
No, you don't. There are some people that we don't need to give second chances to, and I feel like she is.
Well, thank you, Jess. Thanks for making me feel a bit better for that one.
Maybe I'm just a terrible person. I also have very little patience for that sort of thing. So.
I don't either. I think that I'm an avoidant person when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think that,
definitely.
That Homer Simpson meme when he just like gently backs into the... I feel that regularly in life. I am quite confrontational, but when I know someone will out crazy me...
Yeah.
Just get out the room.
Maybe
no winning with that person.
I think that's it. I think the vibe that she gives off is that she will go unhinged, like completely unhinged. And that's...
Do you think we're going to see that this season?
Yeah, I'm positive that we will.
Final question then on it, and I promise I'll move on. But the final question is, I watched the after show and I noticed that they put, when Kyle was filming with Amanda and it was the only filming... done. It was done in October, 3 months before.
Yes.
And then there was no more Amanda.
I think she's a one-season housewife. I don't think she's coming back. I think the other housewives dislike her so much that it actually makes it almost impossible to film. I know. I agree. Because she doesn't have a single ally. She's kind of got Kyle, but not really.
But that's it. Like, how does she even get in? She should go to. I don't think she should be on any of these. But if she was going to be anywhere, it's the OC. She keeps banging on about Newport and wearing little funny Newport outfits, which I like.
I also
Everyone
feel
in
like
Newport dresses like they're in LA. What are you talking about? It's literally a few miles down the road.
I don't watch OC, but I feel like her vibes are more OC than Beverly Hills.
They would eat her alive.
Yeah, which would be funny. I would watch that.
Maybe that's what we would do. Were you really happy to see the Opium bed in all of its full glory?
I was
Southern Charm this week.
Thrilled. I was thrilled to see the Opium bed, Shep's haunted Opium bed.
It's I mean, it's the size of a bed. It's a single bed.
It is literally the size of a bed. But before we go off Beverly Hills, just very quickly, I just want to talk about Kyle and Mauricio, because I have to say this is the first time in years that I think we've seen Kyle actually be very open about how she's feeling and what's going on in her life. And the likelihood of Mauricio walking in, as Dorit was saying, are you going? That was, I mean, that table must have been the most awkward table. I was saying to you before the podcast, Bose's friend, Summer, I think her name was, like her childhood friend that was visiting, must have had the absolute time of her life, because she was up close and personal, sitting there. She must have had her face in her hands just going, this is amazing. Watching the whole thing without having to be involved with it. That's the best place to be.
I know. I really feel for Kyle with all of that. I didn't quite understand with the after show, but it feels like it's over now, right? Like that feels like why they did the
Yeah.
Has she actually filed? Is that what I couldn't understand really what was happening in the after show?
She hasn't, but I think that she's probably closer to filing now than she would
officially separated.
Before. Yeah, I think so.
Well, I don't know if you know, in America, which doesn't happen in the UK, and I don't know if it happens in other states other than California, but in California, you have to go and log the day that you become separated.
Oh, because that's what Rachel, I think, was doing when she was talking about her divorce from Roger.
Well, she actually filed. So
no, she did actually file, but she had said
she had separated for 13 months.
That's right.
So they'd split up, were living, and I've never really understood this, because when there's so much money involved, you should just do the separation immediately. Yeah. And the only reason why I know about this is because of Chriselle from Selling Sunset. This isn't because I'm
always comes back to reality TV,
because they had a bit of a nasty divorce, and he tried to file the separation. I can't remember what his name is, Mr. Tracker, Mr. This is Us, or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
That's also not his name, so it's not whatever he's called. But
Justin, something like that.
Who cares? The sort of
Doesn't
handsome
matter.
one,
generic
handsome
guy.
dude.
Yeah.
He tried to not pay her on some endorsement deals. So he did this quick filing and then backdated the separation so that she wouldn't get paid on this really big endorsement deal. I think it was like a sort of $4 million deal. And she fought him and she won.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reasons why Kyle hasn't filed, and we kind of touched on this last week, and we don't need to go too far into it, but I think it's because their finances are so intertwined, and because she actually owns part of the agency, and that would get so messy that I think that's one of the reasons.
Not filing is one thing, but agreeing the separation date is another. That's the first step on being able to mediate, and also separating your lives. Everything that happens after that is then yours and then his. Yeah. And obviously the agency is different because you're basically partners. It's like leaving a board.
Let's see. Has Kyle Richards officially separated?
Because they're sort of saying pretty boofy things in that after show.
Officially.
Or like, what happened in Aspen? What happened in Aspen shouldn't stay in Aspen. We need to know.
They've been officially separated since October 2023. So they've not officially divorced, but they did separate. Yeah. Yeah, they confirmed their separation. So that's the first
intention then.
Yeah, and he moved out of their shared home in 2024.
Oh, wild. Okay. So they were taking it pretty seriously. So poor old Kyle's not really accepted the reality of the situation by the sounds of it. For me, if someone put that down and was just like, this is our official separation date, and it's just financial, I would be like, dude, we're over.
I think
That's
I think she, without getting too much into the Kyle and Mauricio lore, I think she genuinely thought, because they have a very amicable separation. And I think
so amicable. He could bring his new little tutti fruities in and around her.
But I think she thought that at some point they would get back together. And it sounds like after that Aspen trip, that was just really off the table. And that's kind of what triggered it for her.
Well, over our toast and coffee this morning, we watched the after show. I made James watch.
I love it.
Usually we watch the news, but today we watched the Beverly Hills after show, and we were obviously sort of, you know, talking about this. And both of us were like, poor Kyle, he clearly...
he's moved on. Like
he
fully.
moved on.
Yeah.
And James was wondering, and maybe you'll know, because I was like, no, I think he's too charming. James was like, do you think he's a bit controlling? And he's sort of charming her into thinking it might happen. Or does he just really like being loved?
I think he likes having that stability and having that like anchor almost. Because like, you know that I think she did it earlier in this season where she like brought towels to his apartment because he didn't have enough towels. And
so that his girlfriends have something to wash themselves up on.
Exactly. So
I
think he likes having that because she basically is mothering him. And I think he likes having that even though he has fully moved on from her as like his
he's got
wife.
The best of both worlds right now.
Exactly. So why would he move on, you know?
Well, here is my thing. Kyle, you are a fox. Go get Adam. She won't be single for long, will she?
No, I think if she wanted to, she probably wouldn't be.
Good for her.
Never knows. Good for her.
So back to the opium bed.
Let's move on to Southern Charm because I think we've kind of rinsed Beverly Hills for now. Haunted opium bed. I thought that house was, I don't know, that house is going to be, I don't even know what to think about that house.
You don't like it? Do you not like Shep's
No.
new house?
I think it's a beautiful house. I think Shep is going to not destroy it, but I think it's not going to live up to its potential. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, well, no offense to Rodrigo, but he's not doing a good job of like making me feel like he's a solid
interior designer.
Yeah, it feels just like he's like just shopping for his mate's house rather than putting together a mood board. I'm sure there's probably designers out there like that's not how it works.
I feel like it is though. You have to have like your color palette and like
it doesn't feel like it will be very pulled together.
No, that's it. And it feels like Shep's just going to use it exactly like he uses his other house, which is just a glorified Airbnb, and he'll use it when he's at home and then he just rents it out when he's traveling. He keeps doing it where he keeps like buying these things where it's all part of this thing where he's trying to be a grown-up and trying to have the kid and white picket fences and all that shit, but that's not what he wants. Stop trying to like
I know, I
put
felt that
yourself
about
in that.
Austen. I actually also want to put an apology out there into the world. I don't think he looks like Mr. Potato Head. I felt so bad like watching this episode because you sort of, you know, see things from his point of view a bit more.
Yeah,
and look, he's not a perfect person. But he was very much manipulated and gaslit by his friend.
He was.
He's then kind of like getting his mum, you know, breathing down his neck about having kids. If my mum spoke to me like that, because I don't have children, but if my mum spoke to me like that, I would be absolutely livid. And I feel a little bit like he's not allowed to say anything because he's got dead sister too. He's got the...
Yeah, it's true.
Like, he can't criticize his mum for saying that ever because they lost a child. It feels very... I think that. So he must think it a little bit because it came through, didn't it? In that scene of like, he can't say anything to his mum because that's just really awkward.
But it just keeps... You know what's really interesting? Because if you compare the Southern Charm crew to the Summer House crew, right? They're all approximately the same age. They've got a similar age spread between like Kyle Cook and Shep, or probably Kyle maybe is a tiny bit younger than Shep. There's like a lot of overlap with the age groups. and everything. And I
Yeah.
just think the contrast between the two groups are so different. Whereas because the Summer House crew, like, okay, Lindsay's had her baby now, but she is the only person, but she's also doing it in an unconventional way that I don't think
Very
anyone
unconventional.
no one on Southern Charm would ever do it that way. Southern Charm is just so much about that traditional family and values and all that nonsense. And then Summer House is it's just such a, like, I think you were talking about it a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about people getting married and having kids much earlier outside of like the New York cities. And I just think it's such an like really interesting contrast between the two shows, because it's a similar age group, but they could not be any more different in their attitude towards anything. And everyone parties and drinks and, does all that stuff, but like just their general life trajectories are so different.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of true of the world right now. I think you're in one bracket or the other. There doesn't seem to
Definitely.
be the middle ground. I think you find the middle ground a lot in the UK. People have one kid, and that's it. And they've done it maybe a bit older in life, and they're not planning on having the second kid because of financial reasons. And because the houses in the UK are so much smaller as well. And like, honestly, a lot of my friends say that. It's like, oh my God, we can't, like, if we want a 3-bed, we've got to move further out.
Well, but so that's the other thing is I think in London, it is easier to have, because like in New York, if you want a 2-bed apartment or whatever, it's like insane money. Whereas London, just because of the way that London is set up versus New York, like you might have to move a little bit further out or move in a neighborhood that you maybe didn't live in when you were younger, but you can have, a house in like Walthamstow or something like that. And a lot of my friends live in Walthamstow, and I know, a lot of people who live there, but you can have like more space there, but still be in London versus New York, like where a lot of people move out just because you can't have, 3 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment, or you can, but it'll be very cramped.
But you can get great houses in Charleston. I think that's it. I think it's a real estate thing rather than like...
Definitely a real estate thing.
It's a real estate thing.
That's true.
I felt bad for Austen this episode.
Yeah,
and
so did I.
They gave us a little peek of like what's coming up for Shep. I mean, what is he doing with that random girl in the lady?
Bringing her on the trip as well? Like what? Or did he meet her on the trip?
He's obviously having a midlife crisis.
He's
but,
definitely having a midlife crisis.
The whole thing of like, he's bought the house and he's going to pop a kid in it. What is happening?
Yeah.
It's the opium bed, I'm telling you.
It's the ghost of whoever's haunting the opium bed. Sir Charles Montgomery, whatever.
Yeah, he's wants to go get his piece.
I love that. Before we get into the argument, because the argument is obviously the basis of this episode, there were 2 things that I just had to say briefly. I don't know if you noticed in Molly's very stressful living room, which I couldn't live in that house. It would really stress me out. Did you notice she had a bag with the weave from her time on America's Next Top Model, which is widely regarded as... Yeah, it's widely regarded as the worst makeover of all time. And I just love that she kept it.
Oh no, I mean, I don't want to know what's lurking around in...
No, I feel like there's probably a snake living in that bag of hair or something. I know, it's disgusting. So there was that. And then also, Sally is not beating the rumors that she didn't get the chickens for Craig, because the second that Craig is no longer interested in her, she doesn't give a shit about those chickens. But I also have to say, because I knew someone who had chickens, and I stayed with that person during COVID lockdowns, and so I had to experience the chickens a lot. Chickens are fucking terrifying, and having to like chase them and pick them up is a horrible experience. So what she thought she was getting with chickens, I don't know.
I'd love a chicken. I'd love a chicken. At Gentle Barn in LA, they have like these chickens that are so cuddly. So in my head, I'm like, I'm never eating chicken again. I'm just going to hug them. And they're called like Ruby and Rita or something. And they just run up to you and like get in your arms like little puppies.
Wow. Okay, so that's definitely not my experience with chickens. I just remember one escaped and it took us ages to catch it because we were like running around trying to find it. It was like in the neighbor's field or something. My other overriding memory of the chickens is that they get this thing called croup, and apparently the cure for croup is like pouring alcohol down its throat to like disinfect it. So I just remember my friend at the time, like manhandling a chicken and pouring bourbon down its throat, because apparently that's the remedy for croup. It survived, so good for the chicken.
I just think having those sorts of, they're not pets, are they?
No.
Like, you've got to... I feel like we all knew that she was getting the chickens. Like, she was manufacturing ways
Yes.
to build closeness with him.
Totally.
And it's backfired on her. I'm a really big animal lover, so I didn't love, like, that whole conversation with her family of, like, the complete disregard for these living beings.
Because I wanted to know, where are the chickens now? What's happened to them? Has she given them away? Because people will take chickens. People want them. So, she should give them away.
But that even in itself, she'd probably give them to anyone, and it's like, are they going to a safe, good? I just can't get into it because it's just the bleakness of it. It's just too deep for today.
But yeah, popcorn and whatever its names. She couldn't even remember their names. Cantaloupe. Yeah, that was the meanest one. Okay, let's move on then from the chickens, and let's talk about the argument heard round Charleston. Craig and Austen finally had it out properly, and it was pretty vicious.
And look, I was a bit annoyed that Whitney told Austen to apologize. I don't agree. I think that he's completely legitimate in how he's feeling, but the problem is he hasn't really said what it was. He said it in confessionals, but not to Craig, or he's tried to say it to Craig, or he's joked around it, but it's very, very serious. He told you that, like, Craig, basically, to get out of an argument again here back in this same situation, he said, well, I have an issue with drinking, and my issue is so bad that it's actually an addiction, and that's what addiction does, and shut down the conversation. Yep,
because how can you argue with that?
And again, this is such a weird thing, because anyone that's had to deal with addiction or knows someone and had to deal with an addict who's relapsing, it's pretty awful. And there's no talking to them. There's no reasoning with them. Hello, Craig. Sound familiar? So, yeah. And no one's really backing him up, because I think the problem is, right, they're all like, well, he doesn't really have a problem. And it's like, okay, he doesn't really have a problem. But now you have a problem with Austen, because Austen is correct. He was gaslit then.
Yep,
if you're all saying that he's not really an addict and he can go out and have the shots and stay up till 4 a.m, and actually when he's drunk he's really a pleasure to be around, and personality doesn't change at all, and he's absolutely an adorable puppy, then great, if that's what you're saying. But then the other problem is that he gaslit Austen, and that's the thing that you guys have to deal with and not sweep under the carpet, because Austen is really upset about this.
The problem is, and I felt bad for Shep sitting in the middle of that. Like, Shep was fully disassociating, like just sitting there, like his soul...
actually, that wasn't acting, was it?
No,
he was
his soul left his body in that moment, and he was like, I would rather be anywhere else in the world than sitting in this booth between Austen and Craig. Because I mean, for all of Shep's fault, and this is, I was saying to you after I watched the episode, that it's actually very sad watching that episode, because at the start of the dinner you can see how much fun they can have together, and how they can be a really good, fun group. And then it just devolves so quickly. Like they were saying in the after show, that devolves
really heavily, Jess.
They did. They drank a lot. Yeah, they drank a lot.
And they're mixing drinks, and they're not really talking about that. Like, they're sort of showing it, right? But Craig is a bad drunk.
He is
doesn't make him an alcoholic. Doesn't make him an addict.
No, but he's always been an aggressive drunk from day one.
He is a bad drunk.
Yeah.
And lots of men and women. I'm not that great on spirits, to be honest. I correct myself. I'm great on spirits. I'm great on champagne. I'm terrible on wine, and I should never combine the two.
Yeah.
I know this now through many failures and many hangovers in my earlier life. Craig also knows this too. There is no reason why somebody who knows that he's a bad drunk is mixing spirits, champagne, and red wine.
And a beer. He was drinking a beer at one point as well.
What?
I think so,
I
I'm
mean,
fairly
that
sure.
is like it's sugar, it's nitrates. It's not just the alcohol, right? It's the chemistry of everything.
Yeah.
Rich food, hot head, things that they haven't said. It's, of course it's going to be terrible. And Whitney called him a bully, and I agree. I don't think he's a bully in real life. I think that when he's drunk, he's a mean bully drunk.
Also, Whitney's the only person that could call him out in that whole group. Because Whitney's the most powerful in that group, from the fact that he's a producer, but also because he sits above everyone else, like from a wealth, age, whatever perspective, he's on a different level. And so Whitney is the only person. But what I was going to say about Shep, apart from him fully disassociating, is that I actually did feel really bad for Shep, because he's fucked no matter what in the middle. If he sides with Craig, Austen will be furious if he sides with Austen. And poor Shep is really like monkey in the middle in that situation. And he's in a lose-lose situation as well. So it really is like that whole friendship group is just fucked.
Look, there's no fixing it until Craig backs the fuck down. And
yeah.
I don't know if he will, because he's refusing to see it from like you. It's like, it's not about you. It is actually not about you being in the hot tub with girls. What he's upset about is the fact that you cut him off when he was trying to tell you what he was upset about last season, and lied about your addiction, so that he felt. And clearly this is something that's happened to him before in his life, because we see it sort of echoed with the mum. Not that the mum's anywhere near, doing anything terrible to him, but in terms of like, I want to live my life and I don't think I want to have kids. That's a really hard thing to say. And then have someone basically be like, I think you're wrong. Like one of the most important people in your life. She didn't say that, but it's implied.
Yeah.
Here, let me tell you exactly why you're probably wrong. Rather than being like, your life is going to be full and beautiful regardless. Mm-hmm. You will have beautiful you are a wonderful person who will have beautiful things. And by beautiful things, I don't mean like Hermes handbags. I mean like experiences.
Yes.
And he just does. And I feel terrible to say that about his mum, because she's only trying to give unsolicited, motherly, loving advice, because she didn't mean it maliciously.
No. It wasn't like she was being malicious about it. It's the implications. Like the unsaid
she really thinks it's the best thing for him. But at the end of the day, he's telling you he doesn't want to do it, and you're ignoring what he's saying. And Craig has spent his whole friendship with Austen ignoring what he's saying. And he just doubles down on this whole narrative of, you just don't like it because I'm with the pretty girls in the hot tub. And it's like, that's not what he's saying.
No. I also thought it was so unfair to bring in the failure of perceived failure of the beer, where he's like, what have you done in 5 years? When, I'm sorry, Craig, you would not be as successful as you are if it hadn't been for the team that you've built around you, because you are the face of that business. You are not the reason that business has succeeded, but also off the back of the Paige and Craig brand that they built together. He got an awful lot of goodwill from the Paige brand.
But you could say, well, why didn't Austen do that? I don't think that's like the true. That's just you not liking Craig, which is completely valid. You take all of that out. It's a horrible thing to do to anybody. Fully, like, imagine the cameras weren't there. Horrible thing to say at his birthday, in front of Whitney and in front of Shep. It's completely demasculating, humiliating, cruel me, isn't it?
Oh,
hey, let me tell you about your biggest failure.
So cruel.
And rub it in.
Because also, even, setting aside Jerry, the business partner, and the Paige stuff, pillows and beer are just such different markets, and there are so many different, if you just look at it with a business hat on, right? There are so many reasons why an alcohol brand is an incredibly difficult proposition. And it's an incredibly saturated market.
That's again, like, Jess, like, he picked Austen made a bad business choice, and it hasn't come to
But this is what I'm saying, right? Is that it's not gone the way that he wanted it to go, right? There are a myriad of factors with both of those businesses, why they succeeded and why they failed. Even if you just set those things apart, everyone has had businesses that have failed. I had a business that failed for reasons that were some things that I had to do with and some things that were beyond my control. You can't control COVID, whatever. But to throw that back in someone's face, this is what I'm boiling it down to, is that businesses fail all the time. And to throw that back into someone's face and blame them for it is just so deeply cruel. It's cruel. That's the right word for it.
He's a bad drunk.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's how he feels when he's sober. Because I don't think anyone feels like that when they're sober. I don't think, on the whole, I think everybody in Southern Charm is pretty nice. And I think some of them have mean streaks and stupid streaks. Like there's no Amanda in Southern Charm where I'm like, whoa, that person gives me the right heebie-jeebies. Wouldn't want to sit down with them and have dinner, have a coffee, would be terrified of what, saying anything that could be misinterpreted or whatever. I don't think that about any of them.
No.
Right? I
actually think, like, if you met them at BravoCon, I actually think any of them would be a great time. Like, you would have a fun night out with any of them.
Well, take BravoCon out of it because I feel like they will have to work and be charming to everybody there. Say
okay, you run into them in Charleston.
Or as one of my clients and friends ran into Craig at an airport and they had a drink together.
Seriously, that's hilarious.
And the assistant, Jack, same assistant, and they had a drink at the bar. It was really nice.
Love that.
Got a photo.
But that's the thing. I think that individually, any of them would be lovely. You're right. You don't get the bad vibes that you get with Amanda.
No, but and I don't think Craig, when he's drunk, he'd be belligerent, right? But not like Jess. That's the next level of unhinged cruelty.
Well, it's because
that was meant to wound,
It was. It's because he knows where Austen's weak spots are, and he knows what's going to hurt Austen the most, and that is a weak spot for Austen. And
but
Austen
I thought Austen handled it pretty well, to be honest. I thought that he said, "How could you bring that up? Like it's
probably
just
better than I would have handled it for sure."
And also, who cares? It's a business. It's not a marking of self-worth.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not who he is. He's someone that has a couple of kittens. Look, we're all faulty, us included. We've all got our issues, things that we wouldn't really want people to see, and things that we do that are way kinder than we need to be as well. Like everyone has that spectrum going on all of the time. And it's just, I don't know, but the problem is without those four at the table, pinning it all together, because they still don't have kids. Yep. And really, until one of them has a kid, that show ain't over. And while they're still, it's just, that show's over if those two hate each other.
Yeah. And again, it was just sad because at the start of the evening, you could see that real friendship and it just devolved. Apparently, according to the after show, according to Shep, I think on the after show, that happened in 45 minutes. It went downhill that quickly.
I think mixing of the alcohol. If you put me at a bar and I had a cocktail and then you put me at the table and I had some Tattinger, I saw a bit of product placement, some Tattinger, and then a big old glass of red, I would be fighting people probably, or I would be asleep under the table. I mean, I could get there in 45 minutes, no problem with that amount of alcohol. So yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I feel really
sad.
Yeah, I think this is how I felt that way at the end of Salt Lake as well. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, this has already been a really weird 14 months in the world. Give me some hope. Give me some reality TV hope, because this is all you're doing is affirming right now that we're in a really bad place.
I feel like with Salt Lake, though, they are actually remarkably good at forgiving each other and moving beyond stuff.
I don't think Heather and Meredith are ever going to get there, though.
Meredith is surprisingly, maybe not on the Heather side, but Meredith is surprisingly forgiving. I don't want to get too into it, but I think it was season 2 or season 3, Lisa said some truly unforgivable things about Meredith off camera. She was caught on mic. It was a hot mic situation where she went to the bathroom, but her mic was still on and she was muttering some stuff about Meredith under her breath. for me, some of the shit that she said about Meredith, like if I were Meredith, Lisa would be dead to me. Meredith can be surprisingly forgiving. So I think it'll be an interesting thing to watch.
Well, I guess you could also say that about the Southern Charm, like people with Madison. We've said that on the podcast as well. I never would have spoken to anyone again. No. Like there are some grudges I'm carrying around from when I was like 22.
Me too. I'm a Scorpio. I hold a grudge forever.
I think I'm going to bring it back in some future lifetimes as well.
What grudges?
Some of my grudges that I've been holding on this lifetime. Like I can feel the bottom of my spine tingling. So I know that that's right. Like, yes, you will, Daisy. Yes, you will. You will carry this through 18 lifetimes. Too fucking right. Some of these people deserve it. Yes, I'm going to get in your opium bed and I'm going to haunt the F out of you. You fucker.
I love that. That's amazing.
Thank God they're more forgiving. I would be a terrible Bravo character.
I would be such a bad Bravo character. I would not deal well with the fights. I would not. Yeah, it would be bad.
Rodrigo says at one point in Southern Charm, like, these guys all live in a grey area. I don't know if I agree with that as much, but I definitely am with him with the premise of that they live too much in not sorting out stuff and bitching behind each other's backs, rather than, like, if you either deal with it or don't, or like sweep it under the carpet.
Well, and then there's the factor that we always have to remember, at the end of the day, they're colleagues. So sometimes you have to sweep something under the rug that you might not do in normal life because you have to work with these people 6 months out of the year and you don't have a choice, and you have to see them because you want that paycheck. It's a good paycheck. And you see them at work events throughout the year.
I've got a good question actually to end.
Ooh, what's your question? I love these questions. What?
Are you Team Austen or Team Craig?
In this instance, I'm Team Austen. And
I'm Team Austen too. I take it back. All the potato head stuff. I didn't mean it.
But sorry. I mean, look, I'm not a huge Craig fan in general, but I have to say, I just really felt for Austen in that scene because also it was his birthday. What a shitty birthday dinner.
Yeah, he just went for the jugular. Look, I've been pretty like pro Craig this season. He thought the Sally stuff I was on his side about. I was, rooting for him in lots of ways, which don't know why I was bothering. But the stuff with Venita, I was, and I'm still more on his side about those things. I think that Venita is how is she complicated? But whatever. But with this, I thought that this was truly, truly sad.
Yeah.
Because for Austen, he's a best friend, even if they were in a really bad place. Yeah. You know that whole scene with Venita saying that she was calling Sally to take her to the hospital. And even though she'd been so mean to her on a regular, like she was still, still her first call.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of friendships probably like that as well. That Team Austen now, I feel like it's going to have to be a default.
Yeah, I mean, that mid-season trailer looked spicy. So I am looking forward to the rest of this season because I feel like it's going to be good. We're about to be spoiled for choice, though, because next week, we've got Below Deck Down Under with the Salt Lake City episodes coming up. We have Summer House, and apparently the first episode of Summer House is excellent. Good. Everyone who's seen the screeners said it's so good and that the new cast fits in really well. Yeah, so we're about to be spoiled for choice with shows.
I'm actually really excited to sort of our version of recapping Summer House together. By chance, I was banging on about the fact that I've got Bravo on my Amazon Prime.
Yes.
One of the things it does is it gives you a Bravo vault. So now whenever I switch on my TV, there's a random episode of Summer House will just start up, which is a joy. I don't have to think too hard. I just get to watch old Paige and old Amanda doing things. And it's it's the same as like the Southern Charm stuff. It's quite wonderful to watch it pre the season.
I love that. I just had an idea. I'm in New York in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Shall I go to Soft Bar in Williamsburg?
Oh my God, definitely. Wait, if you get a picture, because he was your ideal selfie as well, wasn't he? You've got to listen to the book. You've got to listen to the book or read the book.
I'll try not to creep him out too much. I will. I'll try and listen to the book.
I think you're okay to creep him out.
Yeah,
think
well,
it's fine.
I feel like he's fine with that. So I will make my way up to Williamsburg because there's some stuff I want to do up there anyway, and I will
I will
pop
just
in.
casually drop softball. It was on my way. Don't go there, Jess. We know you. We know that this is destination number one, biggest, most important thing of the trip. It's the whole reason you're going. Stop lying, you little fibber.
I mean, I legitimately do go to Williamsburg because there's some stores and some things.
Whatever, you're still trying to build your Amanda narrative. I know. You're just like, I plotted this. Whenever it was that we were talking about selfies, I
actually forgot about Soft Bar in Williamsburg until just now. Like so
you're manifesting it. You're money queening it.
I'm on that note. On that note, we should call it a day.
All right, love.
Anyway, lovely to speak to you as always, and I look forward to next week when we are spoiled for choice.
Oh my God,
it's gonna be a 10 hour long
like
episode.
A million hours.
I look forward to it.
All right, see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.